We are often told that bias is an undesirable blight in our current news environment. We universally recognize it as problematic, though we may not always know why or how it affects the current political landscape, unless we analyze its specific components. In this video, we hope to provide context and examples illustrating how personal bias can affect the political process. The simple truth about bias is that we all exhibit it in one way or another. We all have preferences in movies or food, and many like to share these opinions. What we often do not realize is that we have preferences in politics too. Many factors such as family and personal experience shape which kinds of political opinions we prefer. For example, someone who went to college and holds student loan debt will most likely be more inclined to support government loan relief programs and policies. Another example would be a veteran preferring less foreign intervention due to personal experiences. These preferences not only influence the candidates and voters during election time, but they also influence the kind of media available to us. News organizations may not make money from viewers directly, but from sponsors and advertisers who want their products to be seen by as many people as possible. The higher viewership a news station can attract, the more sponsors are willing to pay to have their products seen. This creates incentives for news stations to secure loyal consumer bases that are attentive to their broadcasts, agreeable with their views, and of a certain demographic, which results in targeted and higher paying ads. As you can see, there is a positive feedback loop between consumers, news organizations, and advertisers. Personal bias contributes to these tendencies. Many political issues are extremely difficult to find clear-cut answers to, allowing personal bias to play an integral role. Polarization perpetuates personal bias by creating good guy, bad guy, black and white dynamics around political issues, furthering division between parties. This creates distance between political parties, meaning that compromise becomes almost impossible. This isn't to say that all polarization is bad, but too much of it can result in gridlock, refusal to compromise, or even political violence. Personal bias is the aspect that pressures us to stay on our side of the political issue. It is our instinct to distrust pieces of information we disagree with or that make us uncomfortable. To illustrate an example of personal bias, let's compare two different perspectives on abortion using Biasly's website. The first is from Fox News. This conservative opinion piece provides an example of personal bias by illustrating discomfort with the GOP's stance on abortion. This fact comes a warning for a cowardly GOP. If you keep this up, pro-lifers will either stay home or turn elsewhere in November. You must prove that you will publicly and confidently defend a pro-life position. The author conveys his worries using strong diction about a GOP that tolerates abortion, indicating preference towards the pro-life position and away from the compromise with Democrats. The author's refusal to compromise is common among those who have strong personal biases and affinities towards political policies. It doesn't mean that the author is wrong or has to give up their personal beliefs to reduce bias, but they should be more tolerant of others' viewpoints and at least be willing to listen and find other ways to be unified. Abortion is one of the many topics where political parties have diverged heavily in recent years, making calls for stronger positions necessary in many's eyes. The second article is from NPR. This article talks about the effect of polarization on abortion, and how it has helped many Democratic special election candidates and hurt many Republicans. A quote that summarizes the article follows: "If more moderate Democratic establishment candidates are winning in many places, the opposite has been true mostly for Republicans this cycle, who are being pulled more to their polarized extreme." Here we see how personal bias, as applied to political issues like stances on abortion, can lead to further distance between parties. Democratic listeners may be happy to see that some Republicans are losing recent special elections, but the intense divergence between parties makes it almost impossible for politicians to solve issues without facing punishment from their constituents. This may cause more extreme candidates to come into office if moderate candidates lose primaries. In conclusion, the biggest effect of increasing personal biases is that it closes us off from different perspectives. That is why Biasly conveniently offers bias ratings on various news stories, as can be seen in their side-by-side view of the news.